Hi, folks. Welcome to Money on Politics. It is October 21, 2021. And the good news for you is I'm not going to have a lot of time to be going real long tonight, so no half-hour show, no 20-minute show. I am going to be doing, before I forget, speaking of Humble, which we often talk about, I'm going to be on the Twitter Spaces tonight. In a group with Thomas at 7 p.m. Central Time. So if you want to join us there, I'm sure we'll talk about Humble and be asked questions and talk about that. Humble today, just briefly, kind of did not much of anything. It ended at about 65 cents. It was down less than a penny. So to me, that's nothing. InMode was down 32 cents. TTD, Tom David, which is Trade Desk, up $1.50 to $81. I have talked about that. That's one that was $600 and something in the past, and did a 10-for-1 split. And came out at $63, and I mentioned it about that time. And what else? One stock, if you got a pen, I didn't prepare this one. Something that's, this is an exchange-traded note, and the symbol is F as in Frank, N as in Nancy, G as in George, U as in Union, FNGU, and that's the Bank of Montreal. It's a 3 times leveraged fund that I think will do well. It's about 43 cents. I just lost my screen there. Here, I'll get it back in a second. This is 3 times the FANG. So that's one that you might want to put a couple of dollars into. But speaking of interesting stories, and of course there's my Gmail, and if I didn't do it already, and I think maybe I didn't, there's my Twitter, so you can follow me there too. So please do subscribe if you haven't already. One of the big stories today, and I'm not going to try to make too much of this, but it's kind of a fun thing because this happens almost never in the last 40 years of my investing. But so it came out today, if you hadn't heard, and probably a lot of you have, that's the wrong button, that Donald Trump is doing a SPAC. And he's doing a SPAC with a company, Digital World Acquisition here, DWAC. David Washington Air Conditioning, okay, DWAC. I just made those names up so you could remember the callers. But this thing closed yesterday at $9, previous close $9.96. And you see it went up to $45 today when it was announced that Donald Trump was going to challenge the social media people like Twitter, like Facebook, and have his own company. And he's doing a SPAC so that his social media, I believe I'm going from memory, Truth Social, and you can just see it just exploded. The stock went up 356%. In after hours, it's up another 26, almost 27% to $57. And I actually bought a few shares this morning, in part because I didn't want to forget what the stock symbol was, and so I wanted to put it into my portfolio. And I bought a few shares at $19. I was in the middle of covering the Attorney General's press conference when Thomas sent me a text that Trump did this. So I immediately stopped and looked and bought a handful of shares. And it's just crazy, that it goes up that high in one day. And look at the volume, by the way. You'll never see this. This is why I wanted to bring this to your attention. 130,000 shares has been the average 10-day average here, and yet today it did almost 480 million shares. That's a little bit over the average, folks. Can you imagine 480 million? And the other fascinating thing, by the way, is what's interesting on YouTube. There's this one group that's posting old CBS Evening News broadcasts from the 60s, like 64, 63, 65, with Walter Cronkite. And so the other day, he would go, and Wall Street was up today, and it was up on record volume of 26 million shares. And it goes, 26 million shares. And here we have one stock. This is how trading has changed. Back in the day, back in the 60s, you used to have, hand paper back and forth, and 26 million shares was a big deal. But this one stock, Digital World Acquisition Corporation, and you see, nope, there it is, yeah. DWAC, Trump's social SPAC, that's what he's doing. And if I bring this down, you can see Trump launching social media company Truth Social. Now, aside from kind of some giggles right now, do I think you should put money in there? If you want to put money into it for now, you can put some money. I'm certainly not pounding the table to tell you to buy it when it went up. I have to go look. What was it up 356% to 357% plus another 27%? So almost, a crazy amount. Obviously, it could come back down. It probably will. Let me, by the way, let me bring up that chart. I showed you the 1-day chart. Here's the 5-day chart. So, man, imagine, this is where it's fun to, imagine it's, if only we knew, right? So whoever did know, they did a good job of keeping it quiet. So folks, that's pretty much it today. It was kind of a quiet day, mixed day on Wall Street. Let me check one thing. If you want to look at the bank ETFs, and I apologize right now because I'm pressed here for time. I'm looking to see what oil was down slight, but oil is up to $82. A oil guru today said he thinks until we open up more supply, that the price of oil is going to stay relatively high. It's $82. Let's call it $82.50 for the ballpark figure. What else? DraftKings, we've not talked about too much. That's at $48.92. Let's see. InMotive, we talked about. TQQ was up about another 1.8% today to $145, $144.95. So, what am I forgetting? Fubo is the one. In the fourth quarter, we're in the fourth quarter, October, November, December. Fubo is going to supposedly have a betting app available on their app that you can both watch sports games and bet. So that's another one that you might want to take a look at. Let me quickly bring that up, FUBO. I wasn't going to talk about that, but I wouldn't go necessarily hog wild on these things, but if you want to take a position. So there you see it's right about $30 right now, Fubo. And it really hasn't done a whole lot. There's a 1-month chart. You could have bought that dip. But I think for Fubo that we're going to get more into 2022. It might be a riser. This has been up to $50 in the last year, actually at $62. So if it got back to 60 in 2022, you'd be up 100%. So that's one also I would put up on my, on my watch list, and keep an eye on this, the one with Trump. Whether you like Trump or not, This is Trump obviously brings to the market automatically a brand, and a brand of his name, a brand of conservatives don't like that the social media platforms are predominantly liberal. They're looking for an alternative, and instead of having the government come in and tell people what they can and can't say, I think this is the right answer. If you don't like liberal social media, then this is what you should do. Do what Trump is apparently going to do and start an alternative. Competition is good. So with that said, I'll say goodbye, folks. Remember, Thomas and I will be at 7 o'clock on Twitter Spaces talking about Humble and what we think of the president and what we think going forward. And with that, I'll say good night, and we'll see you hopefully tomorrow night. If I don't talk to you tomorrow night, have a great weekend.